All right. Should be up and running here in just a minute. We'll go over the plays from yesterday and today, and then talk about what to expect going into next week. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for April 16th, 2021. We got about 3 minutes until the close. Q's going to close pretty flat here. SPY, 0.3. Okay. We really haven't seen anything different than what we've seen for the last couple weeks. Okay, so the market bias has, I know, been pretty boring. It's been an uptrend. But market also kind of multiple bars up. We did get that one red bar a couple days ago, and we shifted to a neutral bias, but we were able to get right back over it. SPY, I think, gapped right up above it here. So when that happens, still bullish, but still waiting to see if we can get some kind of pullback. We talked about the importance of noticing the narrow range bars, so this can continue for quite a while. That's why you haven't seen any calls to be bearish on the market or to short the market, right? Narrow bars are sustainable in this move up. So going into Monday, nothing too different than what we've been seeing in the market. At least that's the expectation. Okay, grind higher until we get some kind of hourly downtrend first, and then we can expect the daily to follow. Okay, so notice the hourly never put in a consecutive lower low and lower high. No kind of pivots there to start the downtrend. Okay, so same thing, bullish but extended. All right, let's get into starting with yesterday's plays here. INO was a gap up. Was looking for follow through on this breakout here, and on the breakout in the morning, we put in some wide bars there. So here was the breakout. Broke out over the top there, breakout, and then it started to base, starting to look like a breakout failure. So this ended up being break-even play there, just killed under there. I didn't think the daily was that good, so it wasn't one that I was especially patient with also, so that was fine. And then the rest of the morning was pretty sloppy yesterday, and then into lunch, things started to pick up. This QS liked this gap down on the QS. Okay, gap down on the QS. Here's what the larger time frame looks like. See, getting underneath that support there. So wanted to see follow through there. It started off pretty strong on the QS. Let's go to the 5 minute here. You'll see that it got bought initially and then put in a base up here. Now this is playable. This is by pristine method standards fine to play this. For me, it's a little bit too aggressive. Now it worked really well too, this high of the day base up here. As the 20 MA caught up, that's fine to play on a pretty good gap. I prefer to see some weakness if it had based more towards the bottom, or what it ended up doing was this low of the day base breakdown. It wasn't a very big play. The back actually didn't work at all on the runner. Actually lost a little bit on the runner there. I'll show you what the 65 minute ended up doing. So that's kind of, about as bad as it, or tough to sit through as it gets on the runners, right? So if you're looking for the runner, which I was because of all the room on the daily, big bottoming tail. So while I was out most of it by that point, still was looking for more. And you see it did trail eventually. The runner lost a little bit. So, that's going to happen. We always look at a lot of these runners that kind of hold all day. And that's the reason that I like this hourly bar by bar management, because it is easy to follow. But, you'll have instances like this too. And so while there are the easy ones that just keep on going, this is going to happen too. So that was a little tough yesterday, but fine, because at least the front portion worked pretty well. And then we'll talk about today on the AXA, which is kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about today, which is the difference between revenge play and replay, right? You can do a play just out of revenge when there's kind of no setup there. But there's some specific things and approach that I take when it comes to doing a replay. Okay, so first play on the Axta here was a breakout in the morning on this bit of a 2-minute base here. Okay, so I was looking for it to take out the high. Okay, so the high here was 50. Gave it a couple cents, 52, triggered right there. Stop was underneath this. We were in this for quite a while, waiting and waiting. Looked okay there, so this was kind of the consolidation at the highs. Let me show you the gap also before we get further into the intraday chart. So there's the gap. Clearing a lot of stuff here on the daily. And this is the stuff that we've been really seeing a lot of success with, especially when we're singling out the long plays. AYI, UTHR, right? Here's the base, gapping up over that stuff, clearing, and looking for big targets afterwards. The AXTA, because of the quality of the gap, because of the large time frames, I really stuck with it and waited on it. I mean, you could have definitely trailed it to 39 because it tagged it a bunch of times. Our stop was at 35, so it was only a few cents difference on a 20-cent stop. So I, didn't want to get shaken out. Figures not really worth it to tighten up the stop, and then it did end up stopping on that first play. Okay, so it was like a 1 minute, 2 minute base breakout. Okay, so when that happens, kind of the first thing that happens when I take a play and I like the overall, larger picture, and it doesn't work, is I look at the bar that got me out. Okay, did the bar that get me out get follow through, or did it immediately get reversed or put in an inside bar and then reverse from there? One or the other. Either it got engulfed or it immediately stopped and then put an inside bar and then reverse. This one did follow through down. Okay, so this told me, okay, no play to get back in, right? Didn't engulf this bar. We do get some inside bars, but then the inside bars resolve lower. Okay, so there's no replay here. And the replay, you would just get in as it takes out the inside bars and then stop goes under where it stopped going down in the case of a long. So there's no replay there. So now what I do is, if we played it already off the 2, then I go and I zoom out, right? So I go and I zoom out to a larger time frame. So now whatever entry I'm going to play is going to incorporate a little bit of a larger time frame. Sometimes there's that temptation to, when the play doesn't work but it doesn't necessarily just kind of fall apart and go the other way, is that you want to zoom in and say, well, can I find an entry on the 1, or play little scalps on the level 2, even if it's not a good level 2 candidate, right? Is that you almost try to kind of force your way back in. What I want to do is find a even more reliable entry on the next play, right? And so that'll keep me from constantly, by the end of the day, having maybe 3 or 4 trades on something that just was really difficult to trade. So as I zoom out, it's going to keep me from getting into choppier setups, noisier setups. So I zoom out to the 5. Okay, and so the 5, as a pullback, I guess it's a bit of one here, but I don't like it because you're coming from a breakout failure, kind of a major support retest as opposed to a minor support retest. So uptrend is a little bit in question here, right? You have this rounding top that you're going to be triggering into. So no play for there for me. Okay, so from the time that we played it in the morning, it was hours before we got out, and then hours more before the replay. Now on the replay, which triggered later, much later, here in the afternoon, as we were clearing this red bar here. So it was over 60. So now it's looking good on the 5 and the 15. Okay, now this play didn't end up making a lot. As you can see here, it kind of did this grind, and then we ran out of time and then trailed for a small profit. Okay, but this is the process. And if it had given another entry in here and didn't work, then I'm done with this symbol. So for me, if I lose twice on something, there's no third play. Just done. The thing's got my number for today. Whatever's up with it, I'm not reading the chart correctly, whatever it is. So that's the cutoff point for me, is on any individual name on a single day. I'm only going to lose on it twice, and then, off the charts, we're not going to play it anymore. Okay, so I was pretty patient waiting for the next entry here. and finally got to see the 15 MA caught up kind of right as it was ready to kind of trigger there. And we got some okay follow through there. Was definitely looking for more, especially given what we got on the daily chart. It was pretty impressive there. So, a little bit surprised it didn't do better. But that's just, the way it is sometimes with some of these, I guess there's maybe some overhead supply, or I wouldn't be surprised if this gaps up on Monday again, maybe something like the COMM did. Okay, and then we can play it, if it gaps up again on Monday, we can play it on Monday. Remember the COMM gapped up here and then was a pretty good play on this day after it cleared resistance. So, maybe there's just a little bit of delay in that follow through on the demand for this. So a couple of things just there to keep in mind. If I have something that didn't follow through the first time, I want to zoom out, not zoom in, and start to look at even kind of more noisier setups. And then, you got to have a cutoff so that way you don't let just one symbol kind of ruin your day or ruin your week. Okay. So, not like a hero moment or anything on the AXTA because the first one worked and then it didn't work, and then the second play didn't work for very much. But I just wanted to go over kind of the process there, okay, of how we came to the first play and then the replay, right? And the difference between replay or just revenge, right? I think kind of been done that, especially early on in our career. We play something long, it doesn't work, we think, well, it must be a short, and then the short doesn't work, and then try to play it long, and somehow you're just kind of jumping in and out trying to get the money back, right, without really a plan. And that's kind of easy to get there when you start off with the first play not working, right? Okay. All right. That's going to do it for today's market wrap. We'll be back at it on Monday. Hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday.